Hello everybody. So the angels have given me a huge nudge that it's time to make another video for you with an energy update, and with energy as being the underlined, highlighted, amplified word they're saying, as in that is the chief word to discuss today, say the angels, but also it's a little bit funny because energy has been quite a theme because, wow, look at the energy that's been happening in recent times and how our world has shifted, changed, morphed, metamorphosized, switched, flipped, however you want to look at it. So the angels are saying that in order for you to fully express yourself, it is a matter of rising above. And I know that that's something I spoke about in my last video from March 8th. And I just happened to stumble across it just before and decided to listen to it. And it really, really does make sense. And so if you do have a listen to it again, you'll understand that I'm speaking about rising above and about the choices that we have, and that the angels were really saying to, in this case, choose the higher ground rather than the lower ground. And I really feel like that needs to be double amplified and underlined. And again, I will reiterate the message that I was trying to convey in that video, which is that we do have a choice indeed at this present moment, in this present time, and that we are encouraged to choose wisely, to choose the higher road, and that I cannot express how amplified, how important and magnified that message is. And just as I was saying it, I looked up and I saw my light globe, which I'm just in my room right now, and there's this like one of those long light rods, and it's so bright, the light, like I can't really look at it for long and my eyes will go blurry. It's that blinding white light that I've spoken about recently also. So they're really showing me and reinforcing again, and hopefully you will hear that through this message and through my voice, which is there is a higher light here for us. And it's a matter of, it's like stepping aboard, they're saying. I know that I gave a lot of train analogies in my last update, and they're really saying it's really true. And they made a joke, the angels, just now, you might not want to step aboard a ship right now, because ships don't have a great history, do they, of illnesses and, and even with the corona of being stuck at port and so on. So they're saying nor flights, because the angels, they crack me up, honestly. They're so funny sometimes. So you don't exactly want to step aboard a flight at the moment either, because that's all chaotic right now with all the flight changes and delays and bans and grounded planes and everything that's happening. So step aboard the train. And they really do keep repeating this. So I understand if you're feeling low, because trust me, I've been there too. I started out with this whole journey lately of being really light-filled and so on, and I really was continuing with that and finding that I was understanding things intuitively and able to get there right, and not 100% perfectly, which is fine, because, things happen and you have to still go to the store or, deal with other people or whatever, and it can bring you down at times. But I was, for the main part, in light vibration. I think what brought me down personally is when I started to feel unwell and get migraines especially, which is something that I go through a lot anyway. But what I do find it hard during those times to lift up my vibration and things like that, because I'm so physically down and because I'm in another space of pain. So now I've just had a moment where I've taken some medication to help with the pain, and so the angels guided me to, as I did, just stumble across that video, and it's like just by listening to it within seconds, literally, it's like someone switched on the light for me and I was back in that higher vibration. And also I'll add, when I was feeling lower just recently, outside of the migraines, when today I had to go to the shops, and I just felt, and even at home actually beforehand, I just felt a weirdness. I found it outside of the migraines. I was trying really hard to concentrate on something, and I just felt this unusual underlying anxious kind of weirdness and an unsettling feeling. And there have been moments of unsettling emotion and that feeling of the unknown, and that, insecurity and so many things like that, and that collective energy. So when I went to the shop today, I felt that, and it was just a weirdness, right? But I knew I could get through it and be strong and so on, just, focus my mind on what I'm there to do and then get out of there. And I had this moment where I walked past a cafe and there was this old lady sitting down. Honestly, when I think back at it now, it feels like a movie moment. And this lady was totally dressed up to the nines. She must have been at least 80. I would say she's about 88 years old. And she was just like, honestly, if I think about it now, she might have even had like a hat on or something, but she was like, had makeup on and totally like a 1950s outfit, right? And I noticed that she was, and actually it's one of those cafes where it's very European and they have like baklava and things like that. Anyway, she's sitting there and she's having her little authentic gourmet coffee. It looked like a short black or a Turkish coffee, and her little sweet dessert. And she was in her element. She was just sitting there, a table to herself, right at the front of the cafe in the mall with all the creepers, right? All the zombies, or the people hovering with the lower energy that's here right now. And she was just in her own world, in her element, fully enjoying her coffee and her dessert. And I walked past and our eyes locked, and I just smiled at her. And I smiled at first of like sort of semi-smiling, as in almost laughing, not in a bad way, but in a happy way, like, oh, she's really enjoying herself, how cool. And then the other way is just giving her that love vibration through a smile and saying, I acknowledge you, and like a smile and a nod, like, yes, everything that's going on, but I acknowledge you, I see you, and how cool that you're having your little coffee and cake moment. And honestly, she was just so like, I can't tell you how she was in her moment. And it was like everything else around her was blurry. It's like when you're in love and everything's blurry around you. And it was like that. So she was just like doing her thing and oblivious to everything else, or choosing to be in that state. So when I smiled at her, she smiled at me back, and there was a moment, right? And it's carried with me. So that also helped uplift my day. And that's an example of when sometimes just a mere smile at an old person walking past, or some little thing like telling someone thank you, or for example, I thought someone was quite nice on the phone when I had to wait for a while and do some annoying thing. And so I told them, thank you for being so nice and helpful, and that uplifted their day, right? And that makes you happy. So, love really does make the world go round. And as I say that, the angels are reminding me love energy is so important right now. And as I said that, I looked up and saw a picture frame that my daughter had put on my dresser, and it has hearts all over it, and it says Mum and Me, and it's got pictures of me with my children when they were younger, and it was a gift from Mother's Day, like ages ago now, like years ago. And a few weeks ago she popped it on my dresser, and I just looked up and saw it now, and saw the hearts, just as I was speaking of love energy. So what I'm bringing through now is that powerful message of love for your family. This is the time now, as many of us are incubating our self quarantining, or staying back, staying home a bit more, or whatever it may be. And of course things are changing all the time, but it is there's a few messages in that. One of them is spend those moments with your family, and it's everything. It's even how we're cutting back, how we're not wasting food and stuff like that, and how it's going back to old times and old ways. And it really brings back to me that feeling of post-war energy. So I remember my grandmother in Croatia in that post-war mentality, is she would save her little herbal tea bags and hang them on the kitchen tap, 2 or 3 of them, and reuse them like quite a few times, right? And I actually do that myself. I don't mind, like if I have a herbal tea, I'll add hot water in again a few times, and I like to do that, and it just reminds me of that. And now when we're saving and we are being conserving, I guess is the word, and being mindful of our usage, and there's a lot of messages in that. That is what Earth has been telling us for eons, and we know this. It's like the whole recycle thing, right? We know it, we don't always do it or respect it, and it's a reminder of that now. It's a reminder of simplicity, sitting down and sewing a sock. you know, spending a moment really listening to your child, things like that, colouring in. And then, not all of us have time. Some of us, I understand, there's still people who are working full time or out of the home or whatever, or taking work home and feeling bombarded. I get it. I've had a lot of bombarding moments too. And or feeling tension and stress at all the things I have to do, or when unwellness kicks in, then I feel extra burdened, and then or when there's too many things to do, and then this with the kids, and then you got to deal with this and make that phone call, and there's a problem with this and a problem with that. So I get it, but having those moments and expanding upon them so that a moment becomes a mile. And the angels are reminding me of that phrase that we say, give an inch, take a mile. And kids are great at that, aren't they? It's like more, more, more. But in this case, they're not needing more, begging more, because you're giving more. And in a small moment of time, it's expanded. And so even just a few minutes with your child, for example, becomes a few hours. Or the quality of those few minutes is quantitatively comparable to a longer extended amount of time. So that is one of the messages that is there, as well as checking in on people, checking in on the elderly, checking in on anyone who might need some help. I mean, these are things that are sort of going around anyway and that people are talking about, but it really is the underlying message that is coming through on a spiritual level. And so outside of all of that, the love energy pertains to love of your family and friends, neighborhood, community, world, and out it goes, from every aspect that you can look at. So love energy is a way to tap into the higher energy that is there for us. It's that, and then you can access that lightness. And if you're finding that hard, try turning on a light, looking at the light, brightening the light. Try different things. I've spoken in former videos of, we did a flower meditation and things like that to raise your vibration, lift up, receive the light. So go back and listen to those. And I just want to reiterate that I get it. I know how hard it can be, and how anxious making the world is right now. So apart from following all practicalities, I would also add to only watch the news items or only look up the information that is needed, and to not dwell in it. So yes, have a laugh, share the funny memes going around or whatever, and get important information. But outside of that, I want to say, don't fall too deeply into the underbelly of the darkness and the difficulties. So find a way to step up and step out, whatever that is for you. For some people, it can be as simple as a shift of energy, or knowing how to energetically change their vibration. And for others, or for everybody, it can actually be just simple things like going out for a walk in nature, playing music that makes you feel vibrant or inspired or uplifted. And it's really important to take care of our energy, to do our best to keep it clear and to keep grounded. That's extremely important, and protected. So black tourmaline is a fantastic crystal to have with you. I've been carrying mine around. Also before that, I was receiving tiger's eye as the crystal that is really helpful. And I meant to tell you guys, and then I actually had one, walked around with it, and then lost it. So any kind of crystal that's good at absorbing and transmuting energy, like smoky quartz. And then anything also for EMFs, that kind of thing, like orgonite, and smoky quartz is good for that too. Hematite is great as well, and for the grounding. But any love energy crystal like rose quartz, I mean, most crystals, any crystals is great. So these are just some that are coming to the top of my head, what I feel like the angels are communicating, and I'm seeing the color blue. So I would say angelite, lapis lazuli, blue crystals, also for the throat chakra area too. So let me know how you're going, what's coming up for you. Are you feeling the light? Are you down in the dumps, or are you kind of hopping between the two worlds? I'd really like to see you working on acknowledging and being able to see how you can shift your energy. Are you feeling it through my words, through listening to this recording? Is that helping you, or what else can help you? Let's share ideas, give suggestions, and help each other out. This is a time for community, and more and more and more and more it's going to be about coming together as a community, even if it's through social distancing, the new terminology that we're hearing. So even through the cyber airways, even invisibly through our prayers and good intentions. So let's all hold prayers and good intentions for each other, and you know, I'll do my best to help you raise your vibration and find healing and peace. And if we can all do the same for each other, that would be great. I might need moments where I need it too. So we work together, right? And we do so for our families, for our loved ones, our communities, and the world at large. So, you know, the message in this, you know, all will be okay. Everything is coming together and sorting itself out. It's just, it's being a lot of surprises, one after another, and a lot of changes. And that is being the weird thing about it as well, on top of everything else, and the mystery of this illness coming out of nowhere. And like, look how our world is right now. And the angels are saying, this is what it's like to shift realities, to shift timelines, except this feels a bit more crazy. And like, what world have we gotten ourselves into here? This sort of quarantine movie world, sci-fi Netflix series. But you know, again, shift out of that, more and more and more and more, and then you step into the light, and then you're in this other vibration and dimension. You're still here, but you're experiencing it from a higher perspective, from a light-driven basis from which to come. And then you will find so many other things shift. The people around you, their light glows and shifts with you. Like I was saying in a previous video about sort of boarding your train, right? The love train, hop aboard the love train. And if all of these concepts are annoying to you right now, I get it. Trust me, we've all been there. So that's where have other people lift you up and support you. So do share your needs with others and do your bit to help what you can as well. Let's just end with a bit of quietude. Now, apart from you maybe hearing my husband's music in the background, let's just feel love, light, and feeling sadness coming up. So let's just transmute all the sadness from all the viewers here, everyone listening, everything you've absorbed from other people around you, from the world, the collective energy, removing that sadness, dissipating it, asking the angels to relieve and unweave anxiety, tension, feeling of the unknown, asking them to bind up any lower energies affecting you, and unwinding any feeling of being wound up, overwhelmed, stuck in uncertainty and fear, and just dropping all facades. Opening yourself up and allowing the light to enter and healing energy from the angels. And feeling the energy from the greater sun coming in. Asking God, Archangel Michael, Raphael, Mother Mary, Jesus Christ, to uplift us, clear us, cleanse us, remove anything that needs to go, lift us up, raise our vibration, be open to access the light. And I just heard the phrase, it is what it is. It is what it is, acceptance. So accept what is. All is well. All is as it should be. And just feel that lightness, brightness, and calm. Stepping into your heart, feeling that love energy, allowing it to encompass you, because that love energy is being absolutely amplified by the lovely beings of light who are beaming their love energy into your heart energy. And allow your heart energy to radiate outwards and touch all the people watching, listening, all your loved ones and extended families and friends and people you know, country and world, community, everything, everyone, all that is all. May peace be with us all.